My name is Victor, and today we're going to learn about what is a major chord. But before we get started with the teaching, I want to give you a sample song. It's actually from a popular Mariah Carey song. Well, I want to focus on what is a chord and teach you how to build a major chord. Now, if you haven't done it yet, it's critical and very, very important to go ahead and learn the names of the keys on the keyboard. Now, by now, if you haven't done so, go back to the previous two lessons and learn what they teach, okay? And they'll show you how to sit at a keyboard and how to find an important key called middle C, which is the middle C key on the keyboard or piano. How to find that. You should know where middle C is on your piano keyboard. This is middle C on this piano that I'm using. And middle C is an important one because your right hand should be positioned so that your thumb is on that middle C. That's my right thumb. Alright, so you should know the names of the keys. You should know where middle C is. And if you know the names of the keys, you know where middle C is, then you should be able to continue with this lesson and learn how to build any major chord anywhere on the keyboard. And actually, it's very, very simple. Now first let's answer a question. What is a chord? And for the sake of what we're doing and learning, a chord is the sound that's made when you play three different notes at the same time. For example, that right there is a chord. There's three notes. They're being played at the same time, and they make a sound together. That is a chord. Now, the different sounds that they can make are different kinds of chords. Okay? Anyway, what we're going to focus on is something called a major chord. And a major chord always has this particular sound. Bum, bum, bum. See? That's a major chord. Now, if I was just playing around on the piano and I went anywhere and I found that sound, even just playing around, it would be a major chord. Even if I didn't know what the name of the major chord was, it's still a major chord because of that sound right there. Right? And most of the time you can almost, with our kind of music, with Western kind of music, a major chord is usually used in songs and in music in general, kind of like as a up, yay, yippee, it's a positive kind of a chord. That's just the way that we use it. So a lot of times that's what we think about, positive type of stuff, if we hear that, right? Now, how do you build a major chord? Well, it's simple. I want you to remember this. I don't want to teach you all kinds of music theory and everything about the keyboard and the piano and what scales are and all this other stuff that can confuse you like crazy. And right now we're not even looking at chord music, because you can learn how to play an instrument without learning how to read music. And chord music is so easy to learn how to read. And I'm going to teach that to you in another lesson. So right now, let's just simply focus on how to build a major chord. You should know the names of the keys on the keyboard. And so if I were to call out a key anywhere on the keyboard, for example, E. Find the E closest to middle C. Here's middle C. That's an E. Now, there's only 7 names, really. So, I mean, how hard can this be? If you need to learn the names of the keys on the keyboard, go to pianoforlearners.com, look at the free lesson of the week page or the website page that talks about a library. There's an example somewhere on there where you can download an exercise, a worksheet, so that you can learn the names of the keys. How easy is that? And an example of the workbook that teaches everything that I'm teaching, but in a lot more detail, okay? Anyway, so I say, let's find an E. There's my E. And if I'm going to build a major key, a major chord, on any note, All I need to remember is 158. Can you remember 158? How hard is that? 1, 5, 8. Now watch this. Start with the first key, and then use that as number 1. Watch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 5, and I said 8, right? 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 5, 8. There's my major chord sound. That's a major chord. 1, 5, 8. No matter where I go on the keyboard, I can just lay my thumb down anywhere on the keyboard, and I can say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 8. That's a major chord. Even if I don't know the name of that, it is a major chord. Okay? So, here's my E major chord. Why do I call this an E major chord? Because the first note in this chord is an E. And it's a major chord, therefore, E major chord. Got it? Now, in chord music, you have words, and then above the words you have a letter. And that capital letter is going to be the name of the chord. So if I just see a capital E, then I'm going to find an E, and an E major chord is, and we'll learn later on that with chord music, a capital letter all by itself means that's the name of your chord, and it is a major chord. So a capital E is a E major chord. Okay? Now, the sample song that I played earlier, I use an E major chord. There's my E major. And I also use a D major chord. There's a D major chord. Now, something important here, a root key. The root key is the first key in the chord. It is the main key. The chord gets its name from the, in quotes, root key. Okay? So an E major chord, the root key to an E major chord is the E. The root key to a D major chord is a D. Now, here's something I want you to think about, okay? And this will become more and more important as you play the keyboard and learn how to play chord music. As long as I'm playing these 3 notes, that is a D major. It does not matter the order that I play those notes in. It is still a D major. It has another name, but it's still a D major chord when it's all said and done. So let me show you this using a C major chord. Here's a C, so I got to find my C. And then 1, 5, 8, that's a C major chord. That is a C major chord. The root key is a C. That is also where the chord gets its name from, C. Right? The major chord is because it's that 1, 5, 8 sound. Right? Okay? Now, that's a C major. I can play the C major like this also. Can you hear it in there? Right? I mean, it's still a C major. You should be able to hear that. But it sounds a little different. I can also play a C major like this. See? All I'm doing is I'm changing the order that I play those notes in, but the root key to a C major is always still a C. Even though I might be playing the notes out of order, here's my 1, 5, and my 8. I'm playing over here now. Remember, I could do a C major chord like this also. I hope I haven't confused you. Let's keep it simple. To find a major chord, all you do is locate 1, 5, 8 from your root key, and then you can play it in whatever order you want to play the notes in, and it's still that major chord. I hope that helps. If you have questions, email me questions or whatever through the pianoforlearners.com website, and I hope you enjoy it. Now, the sample song that we have, right? It's actually a song by Mariah Carey, and it's called Hero, and it's just the beginning part of the song. There's a hero. If you look inside your heart, you don't have to be afraid of what you are. There's an answer If you reach into your soul, and the sorrow that you know will melt away.